welcome my guests who are joining in. Let me quickly go across to my colleague Abhishek, who's joining us to give us a sense of what happened as far as Maharashtra Assembly is concerned today. Abhishek, take us through what happened.
Definitely from the day one when the assembly has started, or opposition is demanding that a wet drought should be declared and the financial assistance announced to the farmers and to those people who are affected by the floods should be increased. And while replying to the question, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde definitely explained all the measures taken in this regards, as well as also said, the immediate financial relief will be increased from 5,000 to 15,000 to those who are affected by the flood. But this was not gone down well to the opposition, and they boycotted the assembly and staged a walkout. On the other hand, while this heated discussion was going on, there was a person, Subhash Deshmukh, outside Vidhan Bhavan who tried to immolate himself, and he claimed to be a farmer, as said by the opposition, but police sources have revealed that he has certain family enmity. This is the reason he did this entire thing, though he's been admitted to the hospital with 20 to 30% burn, and he is recovering and police is investigating the matter. But opposition took this entire event which happened outside and described it as a state of affair in the state of Maharashtra, and hitting out at Shinde-Fadnavis government over not declaring wet drought as well as not increasing financial assistance. They are demanding 75,000 relief to the farmers per hectare, and on the other side, Shinde and Fadnavis government had already declared 13,500 per hectare. So definitely there are 2 more days of assembly, and we will have to wait and watch how more this protest will intensify in the House as well as outside the assembly. But for sure, farmers' distress is the major issue taken by the MVA government to corner the Shinde-Fadnavis government in this assembly session. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for getting us all of those details. Let me welcome Aarti Sathe, spokesperson of the BJP, Clyde Crasto, NCP spokesperson, and Pankaj Pandey, who's a Kisan activist, is also with us. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. Clyde, let me start with you here with regard to, because NCP, of course, raised strong objections to a lot of issues and how farmers' issues are being the government is dealing with. If you can take us through your views.
The point here is what we are trying to state here is, what the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Shinde, announced was roughly about 13,500 rupees. We've done our homework. And according to what we understand is this magnitude of the losses that are going on right now in Maharashtra due to the rains. First and foremost, we need the government to declare a wet drought. And this compensation, the ex-gratia of about 13,500 is not enough. I mean, there should be at least about 75,000 rupees per hectare is what should be given to the farmers. And if you're looking at the orchids where, the fruit orchids that are, the losses are there, at least 1.5 lakh rupees. That's the kind of, the ex-gratia that we are looking at. But first and foremost, the government is not announcing a wet drought, which is very important right now. Secondly, let me bring it to light and let you know and the viewers to know that, the NDRF and SDRF norms, the scheme under the NDRF, SDRF norms is outdated. When the MVA government met the Honorable Prime Minister, they had mentioned this and they said, we'll get back to you on this one, but there's nothing come out of that too. And there are certain other things, like for example, due to the losses, the fees of the children in school, that also should, should be exempted. But these are the things that need to be taken into account. But the government is not talking about any of those things at the moment. They're saying that we'll keep this state a completely suicide-free, farmer suicide-free Maharashtra. But what is happening is all right there in front of you. And another important point is that something that has happened, not happened before and has happened now is like the snail attack in Marathwada. I mean, the Kharif crop has been completely destroyed. You need to do your Panchanama of that immediately. Panchanamas have not been done for that. Panchanama needs to be done. The ex-gratia needs to be announced. Even the earlier. Now, when we're talking about whatever farmland that has been destroyed, they're saying that they've done the Panchanama. But from our information, the complete Panchanama has not been done yet. So Panchanama needs to be done. Announcements need to be, you go on making announcement. First and foremost, they took 40 days to, get a cabinet. I mean, they had only 2 people running the cabinet. And after they got the cabinet, they've got the ministers. They're still taking their own sweet time, going around. Felicitation programs are being held. They're going around doing things. Right now, the most important thing is the suffering of the farmer. Maharashtra has been attacked by unprecedented amount of rain. We need a wet drought in the state. Ex-gratia needs to be announced, and the farmers need to be a priority at the moment.
Okay. All right. Aarti Sathe, if you would like to come in here and respond specifically to the points that have been raised by Clyde here.
Right. I think first and foremost, the top priority of this government has been farmers from day one. To say that, we have slept upon the farmer issue is completely incorrect. In fact, the chief minister himself went and visited Gadchiroli in spite of the fact that there were heavy rains and the pilot did not fly the helicopter. He went by road himself. The fact that insofar as the snail attack is concerned, already Panchanamas have been made and required help has been given. In fact, even the earlier government, insofar as the voting in APMC was concerned, where the farmers were really not allowed to vote, as soon as this government came into power, we have allowed voting in APMC, and even to farmers who are below the age of 18 years and have fulfilled certain conditions, they are allowed for the APMC. The chief minister has also announced 13,600 per hectare aid insofar as the affected farmers are concerned. Fourthly, and most importantly, any region where there is less than 65 mm rain and where 33% of the water, soil has been lost, slew of measures. I'm only giving you the important measures. So to say that, we have just gone felicitating people, the fact that we have not really bothered about the farmers, nothing has happened even in the past. We have just come to power 2 months, and within 2 months only so many measures are being taken. Today, the chief minister has written an open letter to the farmers to say that the fact that he himself identifies and the issues resonate with him, because he is a man. You've seen pictures of him himself really doing farming at a point of time. So for him not to be aware of the farmer issues, or for the deputy CM not to be aware of the farmer issues, would be so incorrect. In fact, the Jal Yukt Shivar project was something close to Mr. Fadnavis, and that is something which he will take forward. So this government has at all times been a farmer-oriented and agricultural-oriented government. We are taking steps. The chief minister today has written an open letter asking the farmers to stop suicide. Suicide is not really the solution. Today, what happened outside the assembly was unfortunate. Now, whether it happened out of personal reasons or whether it was the farmer issue, whatever said and done, this government, and like I said, I have not even given you the list of measures because they're so long that even if I start reading out, I think our entire debate will be over while reading out this entire slew of measures. So really, this government is taken all the steps. The Panchanama process is on. There is an online process which has been started. Insurance companies have been given directions. So really, what more? And we will continue doing, in fact, more. It's not a question of what more. Okay. We will continue doing more.
Can I get 30 seconds?
Right. Clyde, I will come back to you.
Just 30 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
30 seconds.
Yes, go ahead.
My point is very simple. If I'm bleeding right now, I need first aid. If you come and tell me that I don't have first aid for you, but I'm going to build a hospital with the best ICU, with the best beds and best provisions for you, it does not work for me. I'm bleeding right now. I need first aid at the moment. I think the government needs to look at it from that angle. Things will follow. But if the farmer needs financial assistance right now, they need to get it immediately.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Let me bring in Pankaj Pandey here. Pankaj Pandey, if you can tell us, आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि what has been the situation as far as farmers are concerned? इस वक्त farmers की सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरतें क्या हैं?
सबसे पहले तो इन दोनों लोगों की बातें भाजपा और मैं शिवसेना के जो भी सुन पाया,
हाँ जी,
किसानों को लेकर कोई सीरियस नहीं है. अगर किसानों को लेकर अगर कोई सीरियस होता तो आज किसानों की दुर्दशा जो महाराष्ट्र में है, मध्य प्रदेश में है या देश भर के हर जगह पे जहाँ पे भी है, वो आज ये न होती. किसानों से भारत के प्रधानमंत्री माफी मांगते हैं, लेकिन किसानों की दुर्दशा पे वो कभी नहीं जाके देख सकते हैं. किसानों को लेकर जब किसान कभी भी धरने बैठता है तो किसानों को एक से एक शब्द दिए जाते हैं, एक से एक उनको उपनाम दिए जाते हैं. तो किसानों को लेकर अगर ये सीरियस होते तो रोज ईडी, सीबीआई और जो भारत के प्रधानमंत्री और भारत के गृह मंत्री जो व्यस्त हैं इन सब चीजों में और अन्य राज्यों में लेकर व्यस्त हैं, सरकार बनाने को लेकर व्यस्त हैं, वो उसके बजाय ये लोग किसानों पर ध्यान देते, युवाओं पर ध्यान देते, रोजगार पे ध्यान देते. इनका केवल केवल एक मुद्दा रह गया है, किसी तरह पूरे देश में इनकी सरकार बन सके, किसी तरह 2024 की सरकार बन सके, केवल इस पर फोकस है। अन्यथा ये जो एमएसपी की जो मांग की गई थी, एमएसपी को लेकर जो वादा हुआ था, जो कमेटी बनाई गई थी, उस पर वो पीछे न हटते। आज तक जो कमेटी बनाई गई है उस पर किसी प्रकार की आगे नहीं बढ़ सके हैं और अभी एमएसपी को लागू करने को लेकर इनका कोई दूरदृष्टि तो वो नहीं है। तो हम तो यही कह सकते हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार जो किसी तरह से तोड़ मोड़ करके महाराष्ट्र में बनी है, वो केवल केवल अपनी सरकार बचाने को लेकर चल रहे हैं। ये तोड़ मोड़ की राजनीति कर रहे हैं। इनको किसी भी किसान से कोई मतलब नहीं, सिवाय कि किसानों को परेशान करना, किसानों की सुसाइड पे राजनीति करना इनका है। ये साफ साफ है।
जी पंकज जी मैं समझ सकती हूँ आप क्या बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन इस वक्त अगर हम महाराष्ट्र के किसान की बात करें तो क्या स्थिति है, आप हमें थोड़ा समझा सकते हैं?
देखिए कि महाराष्ट्र के किसान हो, महाराष्ट्र के किसान में बाढ़ की वजह से एक सबसे बड़ी समस्या तो आई है। सूखे की वजह से आज से 4 साल 5 साल पहले सूखा भी पड़ा था, बहुत बड़ी समस्या बनी थी। देश के हम लोगों ने पदयात्रा भी यहाँ किया, मराठवाड़ा में पदयात्रा किया, लातूर में किया, तो बहुत स्थितियां खराब थी। उनको जब बाढ़ आती है तो भी समस्या होती, सूखा पड़ता है तो भी समस्या होती, लेकिन किसी प्रकार की सरकार की सीरियसनेस नहीं दिखाई देती। ये बड़ी फेलियर्स है। शिवसेना वहां सरकार में थी, शिवसेना के दौरान भी लगातार प्रयास किया गया, लेकिन शिवसेना का भी वही हाल रहा जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का था। फडणवीस सरकार से आशा की गई थी कि फडणवीस सरकार कुछ अच्छा करके जाएगी, लेकिन फडणवीस सरकार ने वही किया। अब दूसरी कार्यकाल में जब फडणवीस जो शिवसेना की दूसरी तोड़मोड़ की सरकार बनी है, उससे भी किसी प्रकार की हमें आशा नहीं है। हमें तो यही लगता है कि किसानों को लेकर केवल इनकी राजनीतिक मुद्दा है, बाकी इनका कुछ भी नहीं है। किसानों की दुर्दशा बेहद बेहद ज्यादा गंभीर है। इसको लेकर भारत के प्रधानमंत्री को और राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री को इस पर सीरियस होना चाहिए और गंभीरता से एमएसपी लागू करें और ज्यादा से ज्यादा इनको उनकी मांगों को माना जाए।
जी बिल्कुल। Aarti Sathe, if you would like to come in here, because obviously this is an issue with several issues that are being raised as well as far as farmers are concerned. What would you like to say?
Well, I would simply like to put it insofar as the farmers' issues are concerned. If Mr. Pandey, being an activist, feels in some ways that there has been no seriousness shown, in fact, the farmer laws which were taken back by this government itself were taking into mind the whole public debate of the farmers who had certain issues insofar as that is concerned. So, we were very sensitive right since beginning, right at the union minister, at the center level and at even the state government level. So to say that we are only doing politics out of it and not taking any steps insofar as farmers are concerned is a highly, highly incorrect statement. We are very sensitive towards farmers. No agriculture is the backbone of this country, and we will do everything possible to make the farmers' lives easy, and we are taking complete steps in that regard.
भारत के प्रधानमंत्री अगर सीरियस होते तो जब वो माफी मांग रहे थे देश से, तो तब भी उनको दीप की ज्योति की तरह वह कानून दिखाई दे रहा था। आप अगर उनके सेंटेंसेस को सुनेंगी तो आपको लगेगा कि उनको कानून को लेकर पछतावा नहीं था। उनको ये था कि उत्तर प्रदेश का चुनाव आ रहा है, इसलिए उन्होंने माफी मांगी। कानून को लेकर आज भी वो सीरियस इसीलिए है कि वो कहीं ना कहीं वापस कहीं उस कानून को फिर से बनाना चाहते हैं। अडानी अंबानी को लेकर ठेका देना चाहते हैं, देश के किसानों को बेच देना चाहते हैं। अन्यथा अगर सीरियसनेस होता तो अब तक एमएसपी को लेकर एक बड़ी बैठक हो चुकी होती, एमएसपी लागू करने को लेकर बातचीत हो चुकी होती, जिसपे अभी तक का कोई सीरियसनेस भारत के प्रधानमंत्री और देश की तरफ से कोई ऐसी नहीं है। बाकी सभी मंत्री लोग हैं, वो लोग तो केवल शांत होकर के केवल फॉलो अप करें जो प्रधानमंत्री कहें, बस वही बात सही है। ठीक है, तो आप ये एकदम पूर्णतः गलत है, डिसएग्री है। अभी परसों अभी आज भी वहां पे दिल्ली में भी लोग पहुंच रहे हैं, लगातार इस पे मांग हो रही। एमएसपी को लेकर जरा सा भी सीरियसनेस नहीं है। अगर एमएसपी भी लागू कर दिया जाए और किसानों को लेकर चिंतित होते प्रधानमंत्री, तो शायद आज ये स्थितियां ना होती।
Ji, bilkul. That's also a fair question in terms of the MSP promises that were made, but I'll come to that in a bit. Clyde, you also want to come in. Please go ahead. Clyde, before that, I just want to point out some data that I've got here, just to put everything into perspective. In Maharashtra, there were 2,489 farmer suicides from January 1st to November 30th of 2021, and 2,547 suicides in 2020. And this is the reality of the situation. So this is government agnostic. This is not a question or not an issue about any specific government or any specific state government or central government or anyone. This is the reality of the situation. So obviously there is a huge amount of issues that haven't been addressed from several years that have gone by. But Clyde, please go ahead.
So I just want to make one point very upfront right here, is that the BJP seems to be taking credit of taking back the farm laws. I mean, the farm laws are flawed from day one. And if you thought that the farm laws could be taken back, you should have done it before so many lives were lost. So many farmers were in distress. Why did you wait for so many people to die? And now you go and give this absurd thing saying that, we've taken back the farm laws. You waited for the people to die? Is that what the reason you were doing? I mean, how absurd can you get even further? To say that, we've taken back the farm laws and we've done it for the benefit of the people. I mean, see, the BJP tries to test waters at the cost of the people. That's what they're doing in Maharashtra also. They're waiting for people to suffer, waiting for people to go through distress and then say, oh, we are giving this kind of compensation. We've written a letter to the farmers.
But like this was the situation even when you were in the government. This is not
so
new.
Are you trying to say
I'm not
that
trying
the
to
BJP
defend anybody. I'm saying that this situation was also
is,
existing earlier.
My question here is, BJP raised their voices even then. They said that we can do better than them. What are they doing right now? If they said they're invincible, I'm not interrupting. I'm answering a question. You are interrupting me, Aarti. I'm answering the anchor's question, and she's still talking to me. So you got to hold on. Okay. My point is very simple.
But you're making baseless allegations. I can't hear
I'll come to you. I'll just come to you to respond to what Clyde is saying. Yes, Clyde, please go ahead. Please make your point.
She can't call my statement baseless and go ahead and counter me with further baseless things that she's talking about.
Clyde, go ahead, make your point. You also have the right to speak, as does she.
Absolutely.
So please make your point
So
and then let her come in as well. Yes, please go ahead.
I'm happy that sense has prevailed. Okay, my point is very simple. We are talking about the situation at the moment. What is the Maharashtra government right now, led by Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, doing for the farmers? I mean, this whole political posturing about writing letters and talking and farming and all, we all do farming. And the question will be is, how come Clyde Crasto is farming? Come, I'll show you how to do farming myself. That's not the point here. The point is the farmers. The farmers are suffering and we need to address that situation right now. Talks can be given by me, you and everybody. What is the incumbent government whose duty it is right now doing for the farmers of Maharashtra at the moment?
Right. Aarti, go ahead.
I think if enough screaming and shouting has happened, I will just step in to say that what is the government doing is something which I have already listed out at the beginning of the debate. Insofar as the MSP, though it really does not at this point of time, we were talking of Maharashtra, but yes, it does have an impact all over the country. For the MSP, we have already set up a committee. That committee has people from various fields, agriculturists, scientists, etc., and even certain farmers. There's a specific farmer organization. I forget the name. That committee has been set up. So to say, 1 minute, Mr. Pandey, I didn't interrupt you. Mr. Pandey, I didn't interrupt you.
Pandey ji, Pankaj Pandey, इनको खत्म करने दीजिए. Then you can come in. Pankaj Pandey, इनको खत्म करने दीजिए. फिर Aarti, go ahead. Aarti, go ahead.
या अब मेरी बात सुनिए. सो आप जो एमएसपी कर रहे थे, तो वो एमएसपी की एक समिति बनाई गई है. और फार्मर लॉ जो हमने वापस लिए, we did not wait for people to die. What may have happened was unfortunate. What happened in their agitation was unfortunate. Point being that being sensitive to what people are saying or what really the farmers want is what this government took cognizance of, took note of. And we didn't stand in the way of saying that we will go ahead with it regardless of whatever the farmers feel. I think that is the intent which needs to be looked at and not the other circumstances and say, look, we did it because UP elections were there. We did it because we did it when the farmers died. We did it after this happened. Even today, you all are doing it after this has happened. But look, there are steps which are being taken first to avoid disaster. But if a disaster of particular scale happens, then we have to take steps accordingly. And like you rightly pointed out, not that farmer suicides had suddenly stopped in the 2.5 years when this Mahavasuli government was in power. There are no farmer suicides which had stopped. Farmer suicides were in fact on the rise. So to say that we did something and you all didn't do something, I think is completely incorrect. Today, at least, we are taking steps. We are taking steps in advance of certain things which may happen. And at the same time, we are addressing issues which have happened as a result of this, colossal rain which has taken place. So on all counts, this government is rather committed, more than committed to farmer issues. And it is not only for populist things that farmer issues have been taken, not keeping in mind 2024, not keeping in mind 2021. In fact, we were not even in power in Maharashtra at that time. For those 2.5 years, when things were going all over the place, we were not even in power. Yet central government has taken certain steps and, you know, rolled back on the farmer issues.
Right.
So,
all right, Aarti, fair enough. I want to allow Pankaj Pandey also to respond. Yes, Pankaj Pandey, आप बताइए.
सबसे पहले इनको कहना चाहूंगे, जब आपकी अभी जब सरकार आई है, फडणवीस जी सबसे पहले अरे फॉरेस्ट पे बना हुआ जो रोक लगी हुई थी, अरे फॉरेस्ट पे उसको कटने के लिए फिर से शुरुआत करा देते हैं. मतलब आप इसी से सोच लगा सकते हैं इनकी कि स्थितियां इनकी क्या है. वहां पे भी तमाम किसान, तमाम लोगों के रोजगार जुड़े हुए हैं.
पंकज पांडे आरे की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं इस वक्त. हम आरे की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं पंकज जी, हम आरे की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं इस वक्त. हम किसानों की बात कर रहे हैं. आप उस मुद्दे पर रहिए.
जी, मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि दिमाग उनका चल क्या रहा है.
जोड़ रहे हो पांडे जी.
उनको, अरे मैडम आपको क्या पता है आरती मैम, किसानों को आपने देखा है? किसानों को दर्द आप क्या जानते हैं?
मैंने देखा है, मैं किसान, मुझे पता है. आप मुझे ऐसा मत कहिए कि मुझे पता नहीं है. आप आरे को किसानों से जोड़ रहे हो. आप कोई भी इशू
लातूर में, सुनिए, मैं लातूर जाके आज भी देख लीजिए क्या स्थितियां हैं. लातूर, मराठवाड़ा जाके देख लीजिए. आप लोग क्या जानती हो? आप अगर जानती होती तो आज इस स्थिति में ना बात करते आप लोग. देश में 8 सालों से सरकार चला रही है और कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे आप लोग.
All right. I'm going to end this discussion here. Obviously, this is an extremely contentious issue, but we are completely out of time. I'm going to end this discussion here. Thank you all of you for joining us on this show. But on that note, it's time for us to slip into a very quick break. We'll come back with lots more. Stay on.